Hello everyone, welcome to Valkyrie Connect Hero Tier List, February 2022 edition. It's been quite a while since the last tier list video, so I thought might as well get one over now. And today is Chinese New Year's if anyone celebrates it. So this is my gift to the community. I've been maintaining the tier list for the last few years. So let's jump right into this. So first off, who am I and what business do I have for making this tier list? So just a little bit about myself. I'm a 4-year-old player. I consider myself a casual elite. I try to spend as least of a time as possible and also trying to chase top ranks. So in PvP, I'm usually top 5. So this is the highest tier you can get. That's about 500 diamonds a day on both of these brackets. So definitely get to chase diamonds in this game because diamonds is what allows you to pull banners, and PvP is a huge portion of it. So I got into Guild Chaos, and last Guild Draw we got rank 1. Usually we are ranked like 2, 3, but we're usually in the top 3. And we're probably the top English alliance here. So I got a good understanding of how the game works, or what heroes are used, and what are good, and what kind of strategies you can do. So, and the reason I put a bullet point here for the spending is that I want to let everyone know you don't have to spend a lot of money to be good at this game. I spend on average probably, I'm estimating like about 15 a month. Sometimes I buy Diamond Pass, but usually probably like like 6 months in a year I get the Diamond Pass, and usually I pick up some good gear packs as well. And that's about 15, maybe 20. I think it's close to 15 a year. And you don't really have to spend a lot, but you do have to play to keep up getting gear and such. Okay, so that's my background of me and building this, maintaining this PvP hero tier list. And I want to do a little bit something different here in this stream. I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail on some select heroes, but in general, this is the latest tier list that I have updated. I didn't include too much of the EVA heroes because they don't really have much of a place in PvP, but they are viable. So they could be in B rank, but my B rank is pretty filled up, as you can see here on my tier list. Okay, so on the top here, these are on the S tier ranks. That's the top row. These are generally really good heroes to pick up on. Good for arena, good for grand arena, and it's always good to chase the top heroes just because of power creep. There's always better and better heroes as a release, so you do want to aim to the top of the food chain if possible, especially when a lot of these top heroes all cost 150k each. So if you're going to spend 150k to take one of these heroes, might as well get the best one. So, and the thing with these banners is that normally you can't really select the hero that you want. You have to select like 2 and then you RNG get 1. So in that case, you do have to make the best decision you can in order to get the best get the best outcome from a certain banner. So most of these top heroes comes from the Catalyst banner. There are some heroes from the Idaho banner that's really nice too, like Berry in the range class, and then there's also Elk in the Mage class, which are the 2 highlights here. Rat in the A+ tier range is pretty nice too. But in general, Catalyst banner is the most expensive out of the 3 main banners: Apocalypse, Catalyst, and Idavos. But you do need to pull all 3 banners to progress in this game. Okay, so I have a new rating system here for select heroes. So I'm going to focus a lot more on the S and A tier heroes, and maybe some honorable mentions at the end. But and the reason why I did this was well, for one, A team actually added like a hero directory, which is really nice to see heroes. So you'll see in the next slide here. And just as a premise here, this is how I rate the heroes. So S tier will be 5 points, A tier will be 3 points, B tier will be 2 points, C tier will be 1 point. And I'm trying to focus on heroes that are not limited. So that's easy for people, new players, to focus on. So as I mentioned, all of this image I just got from the hero directory in game, which is really nice because I can just screenshot it and paste it on here. And this helps me a lot too because, like, for me, I don't have a lot of diamonds to work with, so I really want to target the best heroes that I can. And this is a good way for me to compare between heroes in the same category. So I group these heroes on the melee section here, so I can see in terms of like PvP, PvE, which one should I aim for next, if possible. So first off, Lindworm is one of my favorite heroes. I use him currently in Arena and Grand Arena, and I did use him recently to beat Usher of the Stars X Battle, X Fafnir, that I had struggled with for quite a long time. So he does have some use, especially if you have having Go Frame. Um, this is the overall rating system. To give you an idea, I would say above 2025 would be considered in the A tier range. So cutoff would be about 20 plus will be A tier. S tier will be like probably like high 20s, low 30s. Okay. So I have it separated by different things here that I'm rating. So this is just my opinion on what it is, and this is always open to debate, and this is relative to other heroes in the same range. So for stats, I will say he's S tier here. He got really high HP, pretty high attack, defense, magic attack is really high too. And he also have awakening stats, which I didn't show here. It's like plus 15, but you can see it here when the hero directly later. But his stats is above average by far. This is considered S tier. Resistance, this is pretty standard. I would say it's A tier, and it's awakening stats. So you have 60 on your weak element, I think 170 on your strong element that you're awakening to, which is fire, and then everything else is 90. So for those you don't know, resistance, if it's at 100, that's considered the normal, the baseline. So anything above 100% resistance or 100 resistance, you take reduced damage when you take the element. And then if you have lower than 100 resistance, you take more damage against that element. Okay, and I would say his type and race is considered like A tier. Airborne isn't the best, but Beast generally doesn't have a lot of skills that CC him, so it's okay. And then I would say his skill is considered B tier, and part of it is like he doesn't really hard CC. He have Flame Chain to ground it, which is nice, and he have a lot of skill that targets self, like Stone Skin, status element resistant, attack absorption barrier, which is really nice. And you do defend all allies, but I think defending all allies isn't the current meta right now, so it's not that great. For the CC, is not that impressive. That's why I rated it a B in terms of the action skill. For Limit Burst, it's standard. I just put it A tier because A tier for everything. They're the same points. And passive, I would say it's a S tier for PvP, not necessarily for PvE. And the reason why I say that is the 70% status element to the entire team. I think this is the only hero, if I'm not mistaken, that give you 70% to the entire team as opener. And then Stone Skin is quite nice, give you more defense and constant defense on defense to your whole team. So I would rate his passive as a S. For PvE, I don't think he have much use, but his attack is pretty high. So I'll give him a B there. And PvP, like I said, he's a PvP oriented hero, so I'll give him an S. And hopefully I did a map here right. I think I did, and the overall is 28. So you can note down and see what the overall rating is for each hero. Okay, next up here I have Lightning Valkyrie Sangrid. She's version 2.0 of the regular Sangrid. Let's go for her stats. I consider her A tier. Compared to Lindworm, which is like above 10k defense, 10,000 stats for defense and defense, this is a little bit shy on the magic defense side, which I think is a pretty big weakness, because if you think about like a normal team, you have 3 mages, 1 tank, 1 ranged, and those mages have pretty high magic attack. So them hitting the front will be pretty devastating for Valkyrie Sangrid here. And let's see, type and race, I consider like Airborne pretty weak to this current meta. There's a lot of things that hit air. Even herself, like you look at her action skill here. Holy Chain, and Thunder Chain to all airborne heroes, and then front and back, and then you have Holy Chain. So if you go like mirror matchup, she pretty much CC herself. So I would say her type and race is not the best. At Azers is kind of okay, but I'll just put her B tier for now. I'm not, and these are all relative to each other, anyways. For action skill, I would say she's S tier. From what I heard from others, her skill animation is instant, so everything just happens like almost instantly, which is really nice because it's hard to get interrupted. Limit Burst is the typical one, so it's A tier. Passive, I would say, is S tier, and the reason for that is Master. Master times 3 turns. This is really good for stuff like the score attack when you really need to get that 1 second or 2 second clear, and you have that Master to guarantee the gear proc. But that's number 1. Number 2 is the skill gauge up 30%, so that's allow her to use her action skills as soon as possible. Really, really nice. And it does. Last thing is like she give herself all stats 50% up, so that might overcome some of her low stats, but not really. Her HP is kind of low too, and she also doesn't have Awakening. But what's going good for her is that her resistance is pretty balanced. I wouldn't say it's S tier, but this is as balanced as you can get, like everything close to 100. And her attack immunity is quite nice too. Status element 60% up for 5 turns. Most heroes in the past and even now, the standard you see is like 50% up. So 60 is a slight improvement. Another good thing here is the Groundmaster. All allies 30% damage against grounded. Good for PvP, good for PvE. So yeah, her overall is 31, so compared to Limworm 28. Next up we have Foma. And Apocalypse Banner, I think the last Apocalypse Banner is like 30 steps guaranteed. You can select like, I think 2 of them. I actually didn't do it because I was saving for collab, so I missed out on that. But Foma is a really nice pickup. Her stats I consider her S. Look at her defense, it's like 21,000 for defense. Compare that to Sangre. I don't know if that's a mistake or not. Like 10,000 for defense, pretty low. So let me check Limworm. Limworm 17,000 on defense. So yeah, Sangre is pretty weak in terms of PvP. It's PvP stats, but she mixed it up for her passive and action skill. Okay, Limworm. Just to answer a quick question from the chat. Yeah, I didn't actually think people would tune in because I didn't advertise it. Thanks for tuning in. My recommendation for people who like PvP heroes, I would probably save. I would like to save diamonds and go for good deals. Callous Banner, usually I call it the Altars tax, which is you go to 4 steps, you get a 10% box, and you pray, and that's it. But if you're a new player, like you're like a few months into the game and you don't have a good start, I would recommend re-rolling for like 2 good heroes off of a good banner, like Altars and Savior, and then start the game then, and you'll be so much better off, honestly. Alright, back to Foma. Stats S tier, really nice stats. Resistance A tier, Awakening stats, which is I consider that as normal. Type and race, melee dwarf, I consider that S tier because like there's rarely anything as CC dwarfs. And grounded, I think it's slightly have an edge compared to airborne. So that's why I give her, relatively speaking, this is the safest you can get in terms of avoiding CC skills. For a skill set, I consider her C tier because she doesn't really do too much. Sure, she CC some airborne, front, back, and random. But then one of her weakness, what I found like pretty weak is her defense skill. So she's defending all allies for whatever turns. But then the thing is like when she defends, she can be branded, and if she's branded or pitching, all her heals turns into damage. So she's gonna be really easy to burst down. At least that's how I feel in PvP. And in PvE, I think it's okay. It's not the greatest. Yeah, it's just does damage. That's it. So I consider her one of the lowest tiers in terms of skill. Limit Burst, I put her S tier because Apocalypse Burst, when you do auto battle, it gives you priority over the normal Limit Burst. So Apocalypse Burst, if you have a hero that's available and not CC'd, Apocalypse Burst will activate. And like one thing is like usually when you have a hero using action skill, you don't want it to limit burst to get interrupted. So that's why Apocalypse is good. And plus, her Apocalypse burst give you Earthring 5 turns and Shadow Clone. So that's really nice. Yeah, overall, I'll say she's 28, which is pretty fair. She's nice, but not like OP. Passive, I'm pretty surprised at her passive too. You look at her stats: element resistance 60% off for 10 turns, stone skin 10 turns, defense, good defense, and feint for 5 turns. Opener, so she's a really defensive hero. Feint is like 50% chance of dodging damage, so really nice. Um, but I do find her kind of weak in PvP for some reason. I think it's partially due to her action skill defending other allies, so she's taking more damage, and she's not really in a position to take damage. So that's the thing. You don't want to have heroes that cover. But the reason why I rated Limworm a little bit higher is because he gives himself Stone Skin, status element 70% up, and then the defense. So partially his skill is a little bit superior, I would say. Yeah, so overall 28. So similar to Limworm, you can use Foma and Limworm interchangeably. Holiday Managarm is from the Christmas event. Not too much to say here, except for he's a PvE beast. So for floor 10 Tower of Tox, he's pretty much an instant pick for that because of light ring, a lot of light damage, and things like that. For PvP, he's considered like A tier. He's not bad, but he's also not great. And let's see here, his status element resistant 50% up all allies. That's debuff nullified. Decent. And front 3 enemies slow 5 turns. Decent. Yeah, passive pretty decent. I'll say yeah, A is pretty fair. Maybe I wouldn't say it's S. Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about mage heroes. So same tiers in terms of points, and that's how I decide to rate these. And this is good for me to see too, to see how these heroes line up. Okay, so first off, pretty much putting the queen here right up in front, Moonforest Sortitia, and she's pretty much like top of her class here. And 1 second. Yep. So she's her passive is what pretty much breaks the meta, and the thing here is her 3 enemies with the highest magic attack styles element resistant 50% down opener, and this allows you to status element break any like 3 heroes right off the bat, and this is not something that's resistible, and it's almost like a status element that goes on to your enemy heroes, and that's what makes her really terrifying in PvP. In Grand Arena, if there's like 3 teams, right, and you only need to win 2 out of 3. Usually, I avoid teams with Moonfire Sword if it's built well. So so she's probably the number 1 hero that I try to avoid in Grand Arena. If I want to make sure I win a match. Okay, so one really rare thing that I don't see a lot of good PvP hero have is all allies quick 5 turns. I think this is really nice. This is really nice to have. So yeah, her passive S tier. Yep, that's what I put. Stats I would say is A tier here. Her defense is a little bit low. HP is pretty low, 91k, even at gold frame. So and she doesn't have awakening stats. So maybe when she gets awakened, maybe. Who knows, right? But yeah, her stats is quite low. Makes her pretty squishy. Her resistance is pretty standard. I kind of want to put her to B tier, but I was thinking about like, this is pretty interesting because usually dark heroes they're weak to light, right? But her light resistance is actually 110, so she's actually strong against dark, strong against light, and her weakness is fire and water. And I'm just thinking like, is there a lot of heroes that does water and earth fire damage? Not too many that would hit her right now that I can think of. So yeah, so maybe she's okay-ish. So right now the meta is like it's like a dark or light meta right now. I think it's more towards dark, right? It's a dark meta because Moonfire and Bury. So and she's strong against that. So I guess in that case her resistance is fair to be an A. Her action skill is really devastating too because like action skills goes from top to bottom. So she give herself Dark Rain, first, and then she debuff all enemies defense, magic defense 50% down, and then she does like almost 1,000% dark damage to the front enemy, like front, 2 front, 3 front, 4 front. Holy shit! Yeah, so if you see damage logs for Moonfire Sword in PvP, she's usually the MVP hero doing the most damage because of that. So overall, she's really versatile in both PvP and PvE because of the Darkwing to the entire team, and Berserk and Boon. Boon, yeah, like Heroes of Boon is really nice. Of course, you can't discount her quick, her grace, which gives herself frenzy, shadow clone, skill gauge up. Really nice stats. So overall, I think she's one of the top mages right now to go for. So new players rerolling for her, always aim for Moonfire Sword if you can get her. Next up, we have Great Sage Morph. Okay. Oh my god, this is a really long PvP tier list. Okay, but I really like analyzing these heroes, just because like I want to make the most out of my diamonds, and I don't spend a lot of money on this game, so I need my diamonds to go really far. So I'm trying to pick like heroes that are the best deal for me, and yeah, this is one way for me to help myself too, and hopefully I'll help you guys. Okay, let's see stats. 23,000 magic attack. That's really high. Moonfire only have 21. So, but in regards to that, his HP is really low, 76k. Wow. Okay, so I think people has been reporting that he's not really good on defense, which I can agree with. Pretty low HP. You probably have to build him really defensively. One good thing here is opening master. I like master because it guarantees gear proc. So gear proc have, if I remember clearly, 60% chance of procking at 5 stars. So master makes that 100%. And that's really nice because auto attack only does damage, it doesn't do any effect. So you really want your item gear to proc. Right, so I know, just a decent PvE stats, grounded enemies. You have Frostburn, which decreases enemy defense 50%. Quite nice. Overall, PvP, PvE, I would say he's S tier. Really nice to use. Yeah, maybe PvP might be slightly less than S tier, but just for the sake of rating him, I'll put him S tier for now. I don't think he deserves A per se, maybe halfway between S and A. Yeah, partially is like he give really nice party skills. Celestial Flavor, Shadow Clone, Recover HP, Magic Attack Up, Boon, and then you CC all enemies. These kind of usually in the past CC skills hit certain races like Azers, humans are common, elves are common, but things that have like grounded and then air, these doesn't discriminate against race, so this is especially nice. And his damage skills ignore shields, which is super nice in Connect battles, especially when there's shields on his crystals or minions. So overall, he's rated slightly below M-Sword, over 30. Next up, we have Alfalfa. This used to be the classic OP hero. She's known for her immortality, where when she loses all her HP, she have like a chance of resurrecting with half HP. So really nice hero. And I think she's still decent now, but kind of power creeped by other heroes. Let's see here. Yeah, stats is considered A. Defense decent, almost 10,000. And she have an awakening stats, which is nice. Okay, let's see. Light Moon. Okay, she doesn't have Thunder Chain. So this Light Moon Reckoning. Okay. All ally stats, enemy resistance at 50%. Quite nice. Okay. And this is a classic Light Ring hero. So Light Ring, they give you 50% more damage against light. And then you have you roll a dice. So you notice her there's like a dice behind her. She's probably rolling that like 3 times. And you gain these random effects, which is really nice. You want like Frenzy, Master is good, Feign is good, Song is good. And the CC range is Azer, Elves, and Jotans. There's actually not much Jotan heroes right now. There's one that I have on the slide. Other than that, I don't think Jotan is that popular right now. So this is mostly hitting Azers, I think. Elf, the only elf that comes to mind is like Seraph. I don't really think of other elf. Maybe when we go down to this list, we'll see some. Okay, but overall, 26, slightly below. but pretty solid for PvE, I would say. I would still consider it S tier. She's using a lot of content, so very versatile. And if you want to get the most value out of a hero, you want your hero to do both PvE and PvP for you, right? So that's most bang per buck. Next up, we have Omni class Catalyst. So she used to be the queen of PvP. Now she's a little bit power crept. Her passive. Oh, this is quite small, but I guess you guys can zoom in or look in the hero directory. But her highlight is the Origin Library, quick 5 turns to entire team. There's not a lot of heroes that does that. Stats element resistant up, reflection barrier, but then there's barrier seals nowadays, so that's probably not going to work. And good thing is another key thing for CC skill is the Thunder Chain 3 turns to the front 3 enemies. Human, Elf, Darians, Jotuns, quite nice. Her stats are pretty high, I would say. Magic attack is pretty high, 20k. Defense, magic defense, quite nice. HP, decent. Weakening stats. Resistance. Her type, airborne, magic, laser. It's okay, not the best. Limit burst standard, passive is S class. PvE, I rarely even see her. That's why I rare C tier for PvE. I never really see her in any PvE content. But PvP right now, she's like, I wouldn't say she's S tier per se, but at least like A tier. Partially because like her brainwash doesn't really do any damage. She's kind of like a support hero, but quite nice. And the key things to note here is the brainwash is pretty much instant. Human, Azer, Darian, Jotun, and then you have all allies, 60% stats augmented out by Goldframe and Boon. So that's quite nice. Okay, so yes, Sword used to be really nice hero too, but of course she fell off the grid. Overall, she was only at 22. Stats are quite pretty high. Using some PvE content, not a lot. She doesn't. Her key role is like quick boon, and that's kind of it. And of course, her high stats for magic attack, well, not that high, 19,000. Even sword is like, even Omni sword is like 20,000. Yeah. So of course not the greatest, but still nice for the quick all allies and then recover HP. Good for connect battles. For PvP, it's like she's so. She's I'll still consider A tier because her stone skin opener is pretty valuable. Yeah, but she's definitely not the key hero to pick up right now. Alright, Serene Night Giffion. I think this is like just the summer APOC heroes. So right now it's February. Maybe in the coming months she might make a return along with Summer Celestia. So probably keep an eye out on her. Yeah, she's actually overall pretty high here, and I don't know if I put her that high, but I guess this is fair, right? So when you rate heroes, you always have to be objective and compare it against other heroes too. Stats, I kind of give her E tier. Defense, magic defense, pretty low. She doesn't have a weakening stat, so doesn't have the benefit there. Her resistance quite low against Earth. So I'm thinking like there's not really Earth thing that hits lowest Earth resist, right? Yeah, but I can see some play that allows you to burst her down fast. And in PvP, I do see her pretty squishy. So, but then she is one of the key heroes for skill gauge down nullified, and you do need that passive for your PvP teams. At least one hero with that passive. Otherwise, your action skill won't be able to proc if the enemy is running a lot of skill gauge down gear. Yeah, for PvE, I don't use her too often. I do use her in some connect battles where I can use Azers. Azer's been pretty shafted in many connect battles, to be honest. But PvP, I would say she's S tier for sure. And I use her currently in my arena team. Alright, Impact Burst, of course, gets priority. Decent amount of water damage, but nothing great. 50% damage against airborne enemies, not great. And what I missed here earlier, before I printed out her skill set, is like she actually gives boon to highest 3 magic attack and master, which is pretty nice. And of course, refreshes the SAS ailment resistance. Yeah, Vortex is quite nice of a skill. It doesn't. I don't think it will hit much front and back row. But then yeah, she's still a pretty nice hero. Pretty high magic attack, 24,000. So she's usually one of the I guess one of the highest damage dealers, at least in my team. Alright, Seraph from the Apocalypse banner. Wow, she have one of the highest marks, the same overall rating as Moonflower Sword. But then she doesn't really have uh, much of a use in PvE. I would say I do see her in some Connect battles recently for her, I guess her counter, her light counter, extra damage. But yeah, let's break it down here. Stats S tier. Wow, okay, HP 137k, really beefy. Yep, magic attack, defense, magic defense, really nice too. Awakening stats. Yeah, really nice in terms of a basic kit. And she's being grounded and elf. Pretty nice for racing type 2. Limit burst, of course, I put anything Apocalypse Burst as S tier and anything regular as A tier, just so you guys know. So yeah, S tier. Boon, Recovery Shield, pretty nice, pretty nice. Passive, slow resistance 100%. Yeah, I really dig slow resistance. I actually don't have any meta heroes that give you slow resistance right now. I would love to run one of these. And the Thunder Chain times 2 turns to all enemy Aether Human Darians. So it'll at least hit like Summer Gift, at least hit Moonflower Sword, and Alfalfa if it's present. It'll hit Bury if it's present. So yeah, pretty defensive hero I would say for this one. It doesn't really do too much damage aside from counter if you look at her action skill. It's like Stone Skin, it's nice, stats element 60% up, nice defense, magic defense up, nice. And counter attack Thunder Chain times 1 turn. And for Aether Human Darians, pretty defensive skill, recover HP. Yeah, I like her. So, yeah, I'm pretty surprised she's rated 31 overall. But I guess that's fair. She's a pretty nice hero. All right, Alkir. Yeah, this is considered. I would say, aside from Moonflower's sword, I guess Elk will be the number 2 PvP hero, right? But the reason why his overall score is like 30, I think it's his PvE. I put her as C tier. He's using some connect pals to cheese. By cheese meaning you would have stats aiming 70% up, and you can bring races that the connect boss CCs against, but you're praying that you win the coin flip and you can resist their stats ailment. So you can bring heroes that's not rated for the connect battle, but they're really strong. So that's one way of using Elk. But you do lose 1 hero slot, so it has to be really good hero you want to bring him. And Elk, his skill, I put him S tier, and the key thing to note here is stats element 60% down. He's one of the, I guess there's only 2 heroes that give you stats element resistance down. Him and Apoc Ray, but Apoc Ray is limited, and yeah, he's one of the, I guess the only hero right now that you can obtain in a repeatable banner that give you this kind of skill set. So yeah, just read out over his action skill. Is absolutely bonkers for PvP. Doesn't really have too much place in PvE, but then this definitely makes up for his value. Airborne allies. Okay, this is pretty weak, but I do like his 3 back allies skill gauge up 20%. And his stealth ailment 60% up 5 turns. Yeah, it's pretty nice. I did put him as S tier, but maybe it should be just A tier. But I do like heroes that give you stats ailment 60% or higher. Overall, 30. Okay, Savior Lofrey. Yeah, pretty low score, but I just pretty much grabbed him out of curiosity. I want to see like where he ended up and what kind of stats he has. And he's a really defensively built hero. Defense, magic defense, like 13, 14. That's really high. What's out? 12, 13. Pretty high. Seraph, 9 and 19. Okay, some gift. Yeah. Pretty balanced, I would say, but his HP is incredibly low. That's why I put him as A tier. Resistance, weak to dark. Oh, that's shitty. That's complete crap. Yeah, Moonfire Sword will just one skill and kill him. Racing type, B tier. Airborne, pretty weak. Jotuns, I don't really like that much. And I think Jotun hero choices aren't that great either. Limit Burst, A tier. Passive, C tier. What's this passive here? All airborne allies. Oh, that's pretty much nothing aside from defense, battery defense down. So, yeah, almost nothing. PvE, PvP, A tier. Yeah, I can see him in some Connect battles. PvP, maybe B tier, I would say, but A tier might be fair. If you look at his kit, Stone Chain to all grounded heroes, really nice, not discriminating. It gives you all allies frenzy, earth damage up, stats element reset pressure, pretty nice. Skill gauge down here, shields, attack magic defense, attack down for front and back. Oh, two front enemies? What the? I might have made a mistake here and copy and pasting, so this probably just once. Yeah, I'll fix this later. But yeah, he's definitely not the best savior to go for. Savior red. Overall 25. Dwarf. Airborne dwarf. Yeah, I give her S tier because like anything dwarf is considered really safe. Like beast is okay too, but nowadays there's quite some skill that hits beast. Like you look at her action skill hits beast, right? So beast will be, but then right now there's nothing that hits dwarf. So the only way you'll see hero action skill is like if they hit airborne, which there is a lot of airborne heroes. Airborne CC heroes. Stats B tier, maybe even C tier, but then I guess she's saved by her high magic attack, 19k. Defense, magic defense, really low. Yeah, not that great. Her passives is nice. All allies, 30% airborne. Very nice. Damage against Jotun. All airborne quick. Okay. Yes, so for the passive B. Yeah, that's fair. Action skill, her highlight here is Earth Ring, Berserk, and Boon. And then Self Shell Clone, this is a little bit minor. Then all enemies stop to human, Darien Beast. Oh, she's okay. Not the greatest. Overall 25. Yeah, and that's it for the Mage heroes. And I would say probably the key heroes to go for is Elk, Seraph, Gift maybe. Because if you need a skill gauge down Nullify hero, Gift is a good choice. And then, yeah, Morphia is good. Sortitia is good. So you can get like two really good mages. You can get two good picks on the Callus banner just by picking Sort and Morphia. Yeah, and then what else can you pick from Callus? Callus, Alfalfa, maybe as a third pick. But then there's some newer heroes that I'll go to in the range section. Okay, let me get some water here. Alright, range hero now. Okay, this hero just came out, Dark Pursuer Alfalfa. I wanted to see how I would rate her overall. Okay, let's dive a little bit into her. Let's see. Overall 27, that's a B tier. Why did I put a B tier? Defense, magic defense. Magic defense a little bit on the lower side. But I don't really have a reference, but I think over 10,000 would be considered above average. So, stats B tier. Magic attack 15k. Yeah, her HP is quite low, but then she'll make up for it with the immortality. So, her passive probably A tier, okay. That's fair. She doesn't really help her team other than the airborne and then dark damage 30% up. Resistance B tier, weak against water, earth, but strong against dark and light. It's okay, not too bad. See speed pretty high up here. All right, let's look at her kit, her skill. So probably her highlight here says really long assay. Look at how long is this? Take up almost entire screen. All allies, Frenzy, Shadow Clone, Boon. So I think Frenzy and Shadow Clone happens first and then it boons. So that means all your allies get Frenzy for 4 turns, Shadow Clone for 4 turns. What Shadow Clone does is it'll repeat your last actions, your last action. Like if you do a gear proc, it'll repeat that at half damage. So and the effects still applies. So Shadow Clone is a really nice skill. Frenzy give you 50%, I think 50% more stats, right? Something like that, I don't know. I don't know what Hex does, actually. On Hex, enemy with the lowest HP, skill gauge down, slow 2 turns. What does Hex do? I think I asked, but I don't know what it does, so I need to find out later. But my guess is like Hex would be like maybe if she hits something or something hits her, maybe like a counter. I'm just guessing. Buff Swipe, that's nice. Any stats up from the enemy, she'll just take it if she hits them. Dark Resonance to self. That's kind of selfish. Only to self. Okay, let's see. All enemies Shadow Bound corrupt. Shadow Bound is a hard CC against all airborne enemies. That's okay, decent. And then a lot of damage. Yeah, front enemy row, 3 enemies. Really high damage, really nice Frenzy Shadow Clone boon to entire team, and it does a lot of dark damage. I can see her being key in Dark Connects and Gildra. Maybe fishing for the fastest time. Overall 27, I agree with that. PvP, PvE, for now, I'll rate her as S tier. And until someone proves me otherwise, or until I get more data. If I get some data that she really sucks, maybe for PvP she might be A tier. Yeah, I'm thinking she might be A tier, but I do see people use her. We'll see what happens. Alright, Virtuous Guard Lindworm. He is the highlight out of both heroes that recently got introduced. Wow, her skill set pretty much take up the entire screen. Stats A tier, high HP, pretty high attack for a range. Defense, magic defense, 9k, 8k, so-so. But I did give him A tier, so maybe Alfalfa should have give her A tier too. But I'll adjust it later. If it's a difference by 1 or 2 points, it's not a big deal. So this is more of a reference, anyways. Okay, Opener Shadow Clone, nice. Opener Self, stats element 70% of 10 turns as a range. Not really necessary. There's a lot of 60% up openers, but I welcome the 70%, especially if you have him in team that. I mean, if you have Lindworm, the melee Lindworm in the team, you already have 70% up opener. So the only thing is like this is 10 turns, and you can boon this effect so you can have him longer. Quite nice. Let's see, anything else? All allies up against airborne. Okay. Okay, so his passive seems to be okay. I like the Shadow Clone. So maybe A. Yeah, put him A. I'll put him S for passive. I guess partially because for PvE considerations, you do have the airborne damage up. Alright, skill, I put him as S tier, and he's pretty much an instant lock for floor 10 Power of Tox. And he does insane amount of damage. And partially because of the key skill here is feint. Like all allies feint and on dodge, enemy with the lowest HP, 220% light attack damage. So you can stack him on a light attack team, and in light connects, he can make your team do a shit ton of light damage. And that's why he's really, really nice. And also give you light resonance to 3 highest attack. Nice. And Master is nice at guaranteed gear procs. Front back enemy, and then let's see, Holy Chain, all airborne enemies. So there's so many. You have 3 skills. Look at that: Thunder Chain, Wind Chain, Holy Chain, all against airborne. Wow, I mean, this is like, if this is not saying I hate airborne enemies, I don't know what will. Yeah, this is pretty nuts. So really versatile for both PvP and PvE, I would say. Yeah, really nice hero. So I do agree with this rating, 30, maybe 30, 31, around there. Managarm, overall 26. I do use him in my arena team, and that's for his passive. Wait, why did I give him B and the passive? He should be like, I don't know, higher. At least an A, because skill gauge down nullify. This is a really core skill for PvP, but I guess for PvE it's not that necessary. I mean, it's pretty bare bones. If you look at his skills and his passive and his APOC burst, it's literally taking up half the screen only. So he's a pretty old hero. His stats is really high, over 10k for defense, magic defense. Attack is decent. HP is above average. Resistance decent. His type and race grounded, beast, range, really safe. I like him. Limit burst give you faint, stats up 20%. Entire team, really safe. PvE, I use him sometimes, not all the time. B tier, pretty fair. PvP, A tier. He's not able to carry your team. Quick master, all allies, but it doesn't CC. But then he's more of a support. He's just there for the skill gauge down nullified. So I would say this is a hero that's nice to have. But then he could easily be power crept if a team choose to do so. But in Grand Arena, I think you can still find a good spot for him. Summer Celestia. So this is another summer limited hero. I'm thinking it might come out in the summer of this year as a repeat banner. Highlight for her, stats is fair. Highlight for her is her passive, slow, resistant, 100% all allies. Nice PvE passive, our element damage, 30% up against beasts. Everything else is okay. For her action skill, I think it's pretty slow. I don't think it's great in terms of speed. But then if she is able to cast everything, Flame Chain, Acer, Darien Beast, pretty good coverage. El Omen, defense down. 3 allies with the Frenzy, Shell Clone attack up. And then all allies with Fire Ring. So decent, really nice. Her skill set pretty nice for PvE purposes. Good for PvP also, especially if you have some kind of fire team. Overall 27, that's fair. Range, grounded human, it's okay. I think I put it A because like human range have a lot of good gear choices, so pretty decent there. Limit burst S tier, I put everything APOC burst as S tier, but this is not too impressive. Just grounded damage, 50% up. She's okay. She's not core or anything, but good to have in PvE and Grand Arena. Alright, Savior Bury. He's probably she's the number 1 or number 2 pick for the Savior banner. Let's see. His core usage here is the Dark Resonance to entire team, Quick Master. Really nice. There's not a lot of hero in the range class that give you quick to entire team just readily. And he also hits really hard. If you see him in PvP damage breakdowns, he hits really, really hard. That's because he give himself Dark Resonance first. He give himself stats up, Dark Rain, and then it hits with the dark damage. So all of these incredible damage buffer hits first, and then you notice some of his skills give you defense down to an enemy. So yeah, it hits really hard. Hits him with Shadowbound, hits them with Pit Chain Despair. So yeah, pretty good for PvP and PvE. He's used in floor 9 of the Tower of Talks and used in a lot of dark contents like Dark Hero connects. So yeah, PvE, PvP, S tier, overall 28. Really nice pickup if you can get him. Skill gauge up 10% up for entire team. Nice. And yeah, all airborne enemies pit chains change heals to damage. Alright, and that's it for the range courses. Let's just go over it really quickly. 27, 31, 26, 27, 28. So Berry will be nice to pick up. Lindworm is another good pick. So for Kalos banner, you can pick Lindworm, you can pick Moonfire Sword, you can pick Young Morphia. So really nice choices here, especially if you're missing a lot of heroes. Oh, okay, that's a mouthful. Okay, now honorable mentions. These are heroes that I kind of handpicked myself from the hero tier list, and these are, I think, heroes that's good to mention because I see them used a lot and hear good things about it. They're not really rated really highly, like Collector Mouth, overall 20. Let's see, what's our highlight here? All enemies, ignore barriers. Oh yeah, ignore barriers, quite nice for a skill. There's a lot of connects that have barriers, so her ignore barrier could take down crystals. I guess that's a lot of damage. All allies master. Okay, that's nice. Shell Clone, significant outs. I have no idea what that does. Yeah, she's okay. Yeah, I do like her character design. Pretty flashy, I would say. pretty classy. Tiger God Kitora. She's an honorable mention because like right now she's considered almost top of the food chain in PvE contents because of her stack up skill. So I'm not good. I don't know if I'm in a good position to explain what this does, but like damage boosts are increased for each stat boost on self, and it doesn't really explain it really well. But what this allows you to do is like you have things like 30% beast damage, 30% airborne damage. If you have a lot of stats up, then it'll change it from 30% to 50%, something like that, something really crazy, and it'll multiply all your damage across the board. And this allows you to use her in any team at all, any PvE team, and her stack up will allow you to allow the 4 heroes to do a lot like I don't know, like 1.5, maybe 2 times more damage, something crazy. Yeah, it's crazy how multiplier works. So I mean that's her number one thing here, and that's why she's an honorable mention. Plus, I like her design, Tiger God Victoria. Funny, this is the year of the tiger, right? So Tiger God, yeah, nice, nice, nice. That matches up pretty nicely. So yeah, good for PvE. She's a lucky hero. Costs 60, 70k, easy pickup, and I think you can unlock her with the odd souls later in the hero collector. So keep an eye out for that, and you can pick it up pretty easily. Or ally frenzy opener, that's nice. Pretty rare. I don't really see that often. Frenzy opener. Dragon Girl Nut. She's an honorable mention for me. I used her in Grand Arena, and I've been using her in Arena for quite some time. The reason for that is the melee grounded Darien, melee Darians. You can use Hydra Ring, really nice for PvP. And without Hydra Ring, she's not as good. So that's the biggest thing I use her for. The Hydra Ring and her action skills is still pretty impressive. Azer Human, Elf, CC, and her buff to self is instant. And all allies, paralyzed resistance. This is nice. Gold frame, yeah, you probably need her pretty high up, but she's a pretty budget hero, I would say. So, and there's a lot of chances for you to get her at a really nice price. So, in terms of price to performance, she's really nice, and that's why she's a honorable mention here at overall 21. Okay, and that's it for this tier list video. Thanks all, and happy Chinese New Year for anyone who celebrates, and wish everyone best of luck in their Valkyrie Connect adventure. And of course, please subscribe if you like the content. It'll help me reach my 100 subscriber goal. I've been trying to hit that for a while, but I'm only halfway there. And of course, this tier list video I've been maintaining for the past few years now, and it's just my gift to the community. And hope you guys like it. I'll catch you guys next time. See ya.